Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, then welcome. I'm here today to bring you guys a DIY video. I'm going to show you how to take my bathroom counter from this to this. So if you're interested in seeing how I achieved this super cute marble countertop, then stay tuned. So first thing is first, you're going to want to obviously get the contact paper in whatever design you like. Then you want to get the WallPaper Tools as well as the razor that helps you to cut the edges. And you want to get a pen, of course. You're going to need a pair of scissors as well. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm rolling the contact paper out. And I'm just going to circle out exactly where the sink is to the best of my ability. This part was so hard. Like, it was really difficult because there's really no way to get around the faucet area. So I kind of just had to do a general circle of the sink where I can, and then kind of just like guess the rest of it. I drew two circles, one for where the sink ends at the top and then one for where the sink ends at the bottom, like that little layer underneath it. I don't know how to explain that, but yeah. I decided to make the circle bigger than the sink as much as possible, just so that if I did make a mistake, I can always just cut off the excess paper. Once I got my circle, I just cut it out, and then I jumped into getting the circle for the pipe. Now, obviously the paper is upside down, so I couldn't shape out the pipe on this side because then it would be backwards. So I had to flip it over to its correct side, and I basically had to kind of just guess the size of the faucet. I used my pen and I kind of circled around like where the top of the pipe is, because it kind of sort of matches the size of the bottom of the pipe. That was the best I could do, but looking at it now, after doing this entire thing, I would have just cut the paper in half and kind of just laid it down gradually that way instead of cutting a circle. So the thing about this is, the moment that I cut this out and I looked at this circle, I knew it was I knew it was wrong. It wasn't centered to the sink. It was just off. So I was like, oh no, this is not about to be good, but you gotta make it do what it do. So I just kept on going. I basically pushed that hole that I made for the faucet through the pipe, and it did rip a bit as expected. So the key to laying down the paper is to do it section by section, because the paper is really sticky, and the moment that you try to do a huge section at once, then the paper is going to get crumpled together and you're going to get bubbles and you're going to have to pull it apart and it's going to be a mess. You have to get the corner in place first, as you can see me doing. So I got the top left corner perfectly in place, and I used this tool that I got from Amazon, which I'll link in the description, to kind of just lay it down and get rid of all of the bubbles. The good thing about it is when you make a mistake, you can unpeel the paper and like lay it back down and use the tool to kind of just like press it back down again. So it's not like you put it down and it's stuck forever. So like I told you guys, the faucet area was a struggle. Honestly, I had to like cut it in half, which is why I said if I knew then what I knew now, I would have just cut it in half to begin with. But I had to cut it in half and then kind of just gradually cut around and lay where I could. So, seeing as how I made a estimation on the hole around the faucet, the measurement was off. So I ended up with gaps, as you can see here. But basically I ended up just using like extra paper and just filling in those gaps. I wanted to finish the entire countertop first before I got into refining any parts that needed readjusting. So this is me just going through the entire thing, and it looks like it's fairly easy, and it is fairly simple. All you're doing is just pushing it back and laying it down. This entire thing, the entire project took me almost 2 hours. As you guys can see, that little blue tool is a lifesaver. I promise you, you cannot do this without it. And it's literally like $7 for the whole kit on Amazon. So as you can see here, I'm basically just finishing off the ledge area of the sink. Make sure you seal it in as best as possible with the little blue tool. I wish I knew the name of it. We're just gonna call it the little blue tool. Now you go in with the razor and you basically just cut the paper. This tool is really sharp, so it's pretty easy to use. As you can see here, it gets rid of all of the excess paper. All right, now I'm making my way back over to the faucet to kind of fill in those gaps. And I'm basically just doing like rough cuts the best of my ability, and then just kind of filling it in that way. It looks really sloppy, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But I had to do what I had to do. Hopefully you guys don't have to do this. If you don't, if you're perfect at this, then kudos to you. You're amazing. Good for you. Okay, so here is where we have another challenging part. Laying the paper down underneath the ledge of the sink was challenging because it's in my head, it made sense that it would be easy to just like bend it under all like in one piece. But because it's a circular sink, that was just not the case. You have to cut it into individual parts for it to bend. But with you cutting it into individual pieces, every part that you cut and you lay down, it leaves like a little gap. So that was honestly awful. I think, once again, if I knew then what I knew now, I probably wouldn't have even put paper on that ledge area. I would have probably just cut around where the sink ends. It's a little ghetto, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little ghetto. That's that DIY life. It gives it character. It's authentic. I wish I didn't go in and add the paper to the ledge area afterwards. Like, I wish I would have started up on top of the ledge to begin with, instead of having to go in and add that after, because it was just a little bit more work this way. But like I said, I didn't know what I was doing at first. It was my first time doing it. So yeah, I was basically running out of paper at this point. So I had to go in with the excess paper that I had from cutting out the sink area and kind of just add it in that way. Which ideally I wouldn't have wanted to do that, because I would have wanted just one full roll of paper to do the entire ledge. But you know, it is what it is. It really does suck that I didn't have enough paper, because it's really patchy this way. It's like very inconsistent, but it did get the job done at the end of the day. And then I'm just going in and I'm cutting all along the edges and getting rid of the excess paper. Voila! You guys, these are the end results. Ignore this area. This is just a matter of paint. I just need to like paint the edges. But yeah. Also, this is how much I have left. Literally this much and this much and this much. So that roll covered basically exactly the amount I needed for my counter. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.